let's play this clip from Kevin Samuels talking about women's age and what they should do with their lifestyle. We have that ready?
Yep. Yeah, 27, time to sell. 30, 50% off. Over 35 on clearance. 40, outlet. 50, Goodwill, Salvation Army.
Okay.
Why? I have talked to women in.
Okay. So if you're 20 and under, you get the back to school sale. We all know about that. So 21 and under, you're good on that, right? But when you're 27, according to Kevin Samuels, GOAT, legend, all right? Some people love him, some people hate him. I can already see on the face on this panel, some people, you know, not exactly feeling what's going on here. But 27, time to sell, meaning time to submit to a man, his words. 30, you're 50% off at that point. 35, you're on clearance. 40, outlet. 50, Goodwill, Salvation Army. Okay, so Pixie, since you wanted to have this conversation, you said you're 24. So you've got 3 more years to sell before you go 50% off or on clearance. What are your thoughts?
What do you mean by sell? Like find a guy?
Yes.
I mean, I want to have a family, right? So I agree that I want to, like around early 30s or late 20s, I think would be the ideal time for me. I think the idea of like the second you turn 30, you're 50% off, that's like a kind of extreme for me. Like to me, and what I hope for my future husband as well, is that what they'll prioritize is that we're both like emotionally and financially stable, because that's how you're gonna raise the best children, you know? That should be basically the general priority.
But also it's the biological clock as well, right? I think that's where it comes into it, saying that like that's why women, it's 50% off, because it's like, well, damn, the clock's ticking. If I actually do want to have those children, then maybe I need to kind of forego some of the like qualifications that I was holding prior in order to make that happen.
Yeah, Pixie, 27, you better fucking freeze those eggs already.
Oh, but
Old ass chick.
I think that makes sense if you're planning to have children and have a family. That's like, okay, that's around the age that you have to start.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are not living that lifestyle.
Well, Amy, you're how old? 27?
I'm 28. I just turned 28. So
well,
yeah.
you know, it's time to sell.
The clock's ticking.
Because in 2 years, I'm going to get your ass 50% off.
That's my goal. By the time I'm 30, I want to be at least pregnant with my first baby, and I want a husband and I want kids. That's my goal.
That's okay. So you agree with Kevin Samuels here? Okay, interesting.
I mean, obviously, like, there's exceptions. There's some exceptionally beautiful, intelligent, smart women at 35 and 40, and then there's some who are at their peak sexual market value who are dumb as a sack of potatoes, and most guys probably wouldn't even be able to maintain a conversation. So I think it's a little bit more nuanced, but on the balance of probability, yes, I agree.
It's actually not that nuanced when it comes to age, to be honest with you.
I think
Because I don't give a shit what kind of master's, PhD degree. I say this all the time. If you went to high school during the time that I went to high school, I'm 42. If I even know you from high school, lose my number. Straight up, okay? So meaning, like, I'll tell a quick story. I got out of an Uber 2 weeks ago with a young lady that I'm seeing these days, whatever, friends, but you know. And she's in her early 20s, okay? Oh. And it just so happened that we pulled up to a venue in Miami, South Beach, and the girl that was getting in the Uber was a girl I knew from high school. Oh. That was in her late 30s, early 40s. And this is a girl, quite candidly, that I sweated back in the day, and now the sweating is completely reversed. So I get out of the Uber, I was like, hey, I won't say her name, hey, you know, G, how are you? And she's like, Adam, what's up? And behind me comes this young, very attractive, kind of looks like Natalie a little bit, very attractive girl. How old are you, by the way?
24.
Okay, so exactly your age, boom. So she sees this girl, and she realizes that we're going to the club while she's leaving the club alone at 39, 40 years of age. And you know how you can read someone's face and body language? Her level of excitement when she saw me get out of the Uber was like, yeah! And then she sees the girl like 2 seconds later hop out, and she's like, oh, hey. And got in the Uber and went home alone. What's my point? Think I care where she went to college? Think I care what degree she has? I don't even know what she does for work. I don't give a shit. She's 40. For a man, like, that is kryptonite. Why? because I'm very open. I actually want to find a woman, have kids, have a family. I'm not doing it with a 40-year-old. What kind of complications am I going to run into? Now, a 24-year-old, where do you go to school, Natalie? I don't give a shit. Don't even answer that. But that's the point. Because if you're that dude and you've got money, you've got status, you've got a network, all you want to do is to get a girl that's on your team, gets on your page.
Yeah.
Okay? Because we all know none of you girls are paying my bills. So if I'm going to pay your bills, I want you to get on my program. No?
That's
I-
all
no, it makes
I
sense.
was
Wait.
more so referring to like there's still women in their early 30s. Some of them are still like could still be mistaken for their 20s. There's still some beautiful, very young at heart women in that kind of age bracket. It's not common, but that's what I was mostly referring to versus like the education.
That's fine.
component.
All right.
I
Adam,
think you're assuming that your like high school friend or whatever looked at her and she was like, at the 23-year-old because she was intimidated. But it might be like when I see very large age gaps between like older men, younger women, to me, if I have that kind of reaction, it just screams like red flag, and I see like midlife crisis written all over that. And instead of getting like a new car, they got like some 23-year-old
You couldn't
chick.
be further from the truth.
Really?
Because you're talking about a girl who's used to, because when this girl was 21, she was dating a 38-year-old, 40-year-old. Like this, women are built for this. Did you see the thing that I can throw it on my Instagram? It was like George Clooney and his girl that he's the age difference like 15 years. Mark Anthony and his girl age difference like 15 years. Fucking Robert De Niro's banging out 24-year-olds these days. And like women, the age difference between men and women, I would say that 80% of women are totally comfortable with that.
Totally.
20% kind of find to be
But
weird.
your first example, like George Clooney, he was like known in Hollywood as like the single dude, never gonna get married again, because I think he had already been married. But Amal Clooney is literally like a civil rights lawyer. Like, it's not, to me, there's more to even just the first example that you had cited than just like the age gap or something like that. He married a woman who is like is very educated and is of means, you know, and is within his
So your
income
point is
bracket.
what?
That most men are going to settle down with somebody who's within their income bracket and who is around their age.
No.
Not unless you're George
I don't
Clooney.
think-
Income
no.
bracket?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Income
Most
bracket?
men
I
are
don't
going to
think
settle
so.
down. How many millionaire men are settling down with women in their income bracket?
I can't
Zero.
speak to millionaire men, but I can speak to like
Well,
your
I do.
average working class
Well, I do, and I
American
can
is
tell you that you're dead wrong.
absolutely just marrying another woman who is like around him, who makes the same amount
How
of money.
many
But he just
famous
said higher
athletes,
status.
rock stars, movie stars are just wifing up model number 7?
I'm not sure, but how many famous
But I am
models,
sure.
But how many are there in the whole world? Like, you're talking about the exception of the exception, right? Like, famous people represent, like, are out of touch in, like, a 1%. You're talking about, like, the average dude, and, like, this podcast is for, like, advice for the average dude who's trying to, like, get his money up and stuff like that. Realistically, he probably will marry somebody who's, like, around his age and within his income bracket because that's who you're around.
Wait,
You know, the average guy or, like, woman is not around, like, celebrities or
Yeah, the
billionaires
problem
or
is the
millionaires.
average woman does not want that average guy. The average woman, let's say you're
guy
the
with
average
cash.
woman,
Sure.
okay? Let's just use you as an example. You're the average woman, you make a certain amount of money, you're 5'7", like you're the average woman, let's just say.
Okay.
You're not gonna date the average guy. You're gonna wanna date the millionaire who drives the Bugatti, that will kick ass, take names, and make money.
What about a
And the
Range
fact that
Rover?
you're
Wait,
saying
wait,
no
wait.
means
Okay.
you're delusional.
Wait, a
Because you
cou-
know that you'd rather date an awesome guy rather than a regular guy.
Wait,
Everybody
Would you
wants-
rather respect the guy you're dating or look down to the guy
Okay,
you're
wait,
dating?
here's a couple of things. A lot
Yes.
of people might say that, but when we look at the actual statistics of marriage, yeah, they're marrying people around their similar income bracket. A lot of it is because that's who they come into contact to, but at the end of the day, that's the choices they're making. And then on top of that, I understand that you might personally not care about education, but the trend that we're seeing is that men who have a slightly above income bracket tend to marry women who have a slightly above education. And a big reason for that is because if they're going to have children, guess who's going to raise better children? A woman who's educated, who can teach her children about the future, about the world. And that's how you develop good children.
I actually agree with you. I say all the time that men solve for beauty. It's outer beauty and inner beauty. Meaning I'd rather have a girl who's a sweet, nice,
100%.
like motherly person than like, I've got 2 degrees, watch me. It's like, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Are you actually a good person? Or are you just saying it on paper? So if you like that clip, click right here to watch another. Or if you want to watch the entire SOSCAST, click right here.